What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another video. Again, still recording in the in a different spot, so lighting isn't great. I don't have my microphone, so the audio probably the quality isn't great. I'm using my computer audio, but I just and maybe I'm a little late to the game, a little late to the party here, but I do think this is a story that's going to carry on for a bit. And I really can't believe it's a story. And just feel like I have to speak my mind and talk about how I feel about this. I don't think this is going to be a long video at all, but there's been a lot of conversation right now about Cleetus McFarland, and maybe it stretches a little bit farther. The criteria for getting a NASCAR license to be able to drive in a Daytona race, whether it be truck, whether it be O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, or for even that matter, Cup. But more or less, the conversation kind of sparked with Cleetus McFarland and a little bit with Natalie Decker. But I want to focus more on Cleetus McFarland here. And I feel like maybe there's people watching that, have only watched a handful of NASCAR races that Cleetus has raced in and maybe aren't the biggest of fans and really just want to hear me talk about that aspect of things. So I'm going to start and really hone in and focus on that aspect of the question of should Cleetus be racing up against these NASCAR drivers who grew up doing this, who have raced and raced and raced, quite a bit in their life and went up through the ranks sometimes, supposedly, right? I'll get into that. But should a guy who's a YouTube star, who is kind of at this point a global brand, who has built himself up as a personality that people know, that people can, lean on, identify with, enjoy watching that content, enjoy following that person around, should that guy who has limited driving experience but is starting to or limited racing experience. I shouldn't say driving. That is false. But limited, like, NASCAR and true racing experience, should that guy be allowed to race in a NASCAR series? And I cannot believe that this is actually a topic. I cannot believe that there are people in the industry thinking like that the sport in some way, in some capacity, is like too it's too good, it's too sacred for a guy like this to break into and be able to enjoy and race. Should Cleetus McFarland be racing in NASCAR? Yeah. I mean, like, are we dumb? That might be the stupidest question I think someone could possibly ask. I genuinely mean that. Should a guy who, when he gets out of the truck or the ARCA car, when he gets out, he kind of talks about how much he loves it, he enjoys it, how he wants to get better at it, do it more, in hopes one day to run the Daytona 500. A guy who is, again, a global superstar, who has built a brand, who people watch and follow whatever this guy does because he's entertaining, and he has proved that for years and years and years in another realm that has to do with auto sport, motorsport, and cars. You don't want that guy. You don't want that guy racing against young kids, like, really, like like the truck series. I mean, some of these people that are talking about, the truck series, are making it seem like I mean, it's like the 86 Celtics. I mean, like, what are we doing? I mean, this is a guy, again, who has millions of subscribers, who, when he first did his race, he had a live stream of the camera, and hundreds of thousands of people were watching his camera, watching him race. And because he maybe isn't the best on the track, we don't want him out there. We think he shouldn't be out there. He's got to learn more. Guys, that is not smart. It's just not smart. But the bigger point that I want to make, so that's my opinion on that. I think it is blasphemy. I think it is just such malpractice to take that away. And we just saw the truck numbers and the truck TV ratings come out, and I don't know how now some of these people that have said this stuff can like stand on that ground, oh, for the betterment of the sport. I mean, like the truck series is not the cream of the crop, but let's be honest. And nothing against the truck series. I mean, there are guys that can and girls that can really race a race car and a truck in that series. But I mean, let's not talk about the truck series like it's, the Holy Grail. I mean, if Cleetus can get in a truck and hold the wheel, which he seems at this point like he can do pretty equal par with some of the other guys that are also racing in that series, and he's bringing eyes, and the TV ratings come out and they're up significantly year over year. And this is the most watched truck race in a long time because you have Tony Stewart and Cleetus McFarland racing that race. How can I just I if you want to grow the sport and you want to like I understand the sentiment of maybe it looks bad because there are people that have worked and worked and worked and never get that opportunity, or have grinded it out and are veterans in that series and have done it the right way and raced the right way. I get it, but guys, that's life. That's what happens in life. Some people, NASCAR has always been a sport where nepotism just plays its part. So I mean, we're crowning some of these young kids from like young ages. You're gonna get a spot in the Cup Series no matter what, right? Like so, this sport has always been built on kind of unfair opportunities for certain people. That's what happens in this sport. But the bigger issue, and this is for the NASCAR fans. You guys will agree with me here. The bigger issue is not just singled out with Cleetus McFarland or insert any name of someone that makes a bad mistake, and we all say, geez, like, should that person really be racing in NASCAR right now? Or, learn a little bit, but whatever. We all do it. It's part of being a fan and watching any sport. Um, the bigger issue, and this is just a larger scale issue in NASCAR and even in some different sports at this point. I can think of examples in the NBA as well. But in the 90s, in the 80s, in the early 2000s, it was talent here and it was like sponsorship and money and funding here. We have now gone to funding and sponsorship and whatever here and talent here. Now, sometimes that's good, like a Cleetus McFarland. Does he have the talent of some of these other guys who are racing in the truck series? No, absolutely not. He hasn't been doing it long enough. But can he bring something to NASCAR that some of those uber talented guys cannot? Yeah, he can. So he is valuable to NASCAR. And NASCAR needs Cleetus more than Cleetus needs NASCAR. That's a fact. Now I say needs, I mean that maybe that's a stretch, but NASCAR benefits more from Cleetus than Cleetus does being a part of NASCAR. He's already built a brand and, he has an audience that maybe, haven't given NASCAR a chance, right? So if Cleetus runs NASCAR, that audience broadens and right, it benefits NASCAR. That's kind of how this stuff works, right? But forever, it was talent was here and funding and sponsorship and all that was here. At this point, guys, it's kind of just a fact. If Joe Schmo from wherever who ran three late model races and maybe an ARCA race got sponsorship from Amazon, big backing from a company like that, right? And wants to race in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, I don't think NASCAR is going to say no, right? I just it's not going to happen in my opinion. So that's where the sport is. And again, I go back to the fact of like NASCAR it's a family and friend sport. That's what it was built on, right? There's a lot of nepotism in this sport. If you are, you know, the son of a famous driver or a somewhat famous driver, odds are you're probably going to get a chance. So is that really much different than Cleetus McFarland getting a chance because he has a big audience and wants to do it? Not really, in my opinion. And I think it's an easy cop out to just say like, well, he's not good enough. He hasn't done it. He hasn't done it long enough. Well, guys, I mean, at some point you have to put that kind of like old head behind you and understand that this is a guy who's a valuable asset to NASCAR. And every time he gets out of the car, he speaks good things about the experience and being a part of it. That's good for the sport, whether you like it or not. So should McFarland be, or Garrett Mitchell, whatever you want to call him, be racing in NASCAR? The only answer to that question is yes. And I think it's just it I don't know how you could argue the other side. I just don't. And I hope he continues to race in NASCAR. I hope he one day does make it to the Daytona 500 because I promise you that story will make NASCAR go this way. And without him and without opportunities like this, NASCAR will continue to go here or there. Now, last point, there's a balance there, right? Because some of those old fans who want to see like a full season points championship or bringing back the chase, they like that stuff. And they maybe don't like, Cleetus McFarland racing. That's okay. That's why NASCAR has found a nice medium. They are helping their base and listening to their kind of like the fans that have been there, but they're also allowing a guy to broaden their reach and build upon that, right? So I think NASCAR is in a great spot with Cleetus McFarland. I think they made the right decision to let him race, and I think they will continue to make the right decision in any series to let this guy race. Maybe he's got to prove himself a little bit more, but do not take him out of Truck Series races. If he wants in, he should be in. That's the bottom line. Should Cleetus McFarland be racing? Want to know what you guys think in the comments section below. I promise, as crazy as I sound here on this, I will listen to a differing opinion in the comments section. We can have a little fun. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Goes a long way for the channel. If you enjoy my NASCAR content, hit that subscribe button down below. This is my opinion. This is how I feel. I think it's good for the sport. But like I said, I want to listen to those that might not agree with me. If there are any who are watching this video, we'll see. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.